Hello and welcome to the 2018 Troop Training for the Cookie program. This year our theme is Altogether Awesome. We'll jump right in there. So the first thing that we're going to notice is that we have 8 varieties of cookies with a couple of specialty cookies, but the big thing to see is that all of them now are $5 per box. So that's Thin Mints all the way to Toffee-tastic. Every single box that we sell, making it much easier for the girls and for our customers to just know that every box is $5. And for troop leaders, it makes it much easier as we're putting things into eBuddy because they are all the same cost or all the same price within that system as well. A couple of things that I want to point out is that we do have a vegan cookie. That means no dairy or animal byproducts whatsoever in that cookie. And we also have the Girl Scout S'mores back for its second year, and it is what we consider a clean cookie, which means that it has everything that needs to be able to be sold in the Whole Foods market. It has that. Although none of our other cookies are dirty, but this one does have all natural flavors, no artificial colors, no artificial flavors. And then, of course, gluten-free Toffee-tastic for anybody that may have a gluten intolerance or celiac disease, or people that just want to, they love their toffee so much. A couple of things that you'll hear me say throughout any training that I ever do is that this is the Girl Scout cookie program, not the Girl Scout cookie sale. Although we are selling cookies, and that is a big part of what we do want to make sure that we are working through these 5 skills to teach girls a little bit of financial empowerment. So just by participating in the program, we are going to be teaching girls how to set goals, making sure that we're not just setting it for a number of boxes to sell. While that's good and all, and that helps us to have something that's tangible and realistic, we really want to have goals that are set on the 3 S's, which means first we're going to find a way that something that we are saving for, something that we want to maybe work a couple of years to get to. So we're putting some money aside and having some bigger goals to have things that the girls can look forward to, not just this year, but in the coming years. The next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we are serving our community. So we're going to save, we're going to serve. That means that we're giving back to the community that just supported us, either through planting trees in a park or building kits for maybe a homeless shelter or some hygiene kits, or possibly even putting together some kind of dog beds or blankets for the Humane Society or something like that. And then finally we want to celebrate what the girls did. So we don't want to just save and just serve. We want to make sure that the girls know that their hard work pays off. So we're going to find a way to celebrate right now. So those are our 3 S's. Not SSC is what we have, just like Silver Sage Council. Finally, next we have decision making. We want to make sure we're bringing girls into every part of this. We don't want to just be dictating to our girls exactly what we're going to do, how many booths we're going to do, how many boxes of cookies we're going to sell. We want to make sure we're bringing them in for every bit of this. Next thing we're going to do is money management. There is a lot of money in this program, and we need to start at the lowest levels with the girls taking from the customers, and from the girls turning it in or keeping it in their money envelope, handing it into their troop leaders, making it into the bank account, and of course making sure that money makes it to pay off all the cookies and all of the other things by paying off council's proceeds. And also making sure we're holding everybody accountable to making sure that process happens for everybody. And then next, we have people skills. We're teaching girls how to learn and memorize a script so that they can go into almost any situation and know exactly what they're going to say. This is skills that are super duper important to teach our girls. And what's amazing about this skill is that they learn to hear yes to them over and over again. That girls are going to hear people say, yes, I will buy a box of cookies from you. So it's very, very empowering as we watch our girls go through this process to see that people really are responding to them in a positive way. And finally, we're going to make sure that they're doing all of these other things right. We're going to hold everybody accountable, whether it's in the money or how many boxes they said that they were going to sell. Whatever it might be, we're going to make sure we're doing it right and teaching everybody to hold each other accountable, which isn't a bad thing. That's a good thing. When we hold people accountable, it means that we know what the expectations are. We've set them out ahead of time, and now we're going to just go through with what we said. Our yeses are going to be yeses, and our no's are going to be no's. And finally, to help you guys along with that, there's a lot of badges and patches and pins that go along with the cookie program. The patches are all found, or all the badges are found in your girls' guides, but we do have a flyer online that you can find, a little flyer that just shows you exactly what each of those things, including our Cookie Mon program, where the girls are going to want to collect them all. Next thing we're going to do is, if we're going to ask girls to set goals, we want to set them at the council, and then we want them to have them for the service units and for our troops to be able to kind of see what are our expectations, making sure that we're setting those correctly. Last year we did about 790,000 boxes, just slightly edging out the year before to be our best-selling year ever. We had about 85% troop girl participation, and we sold at an average rate of 255 boxes per girl that actually sold. So very, very high number that's been just jumping or just increasing and over the past couple of years. So we're super impressed with our girls. This year, with a price increase and less girls selling, we estimate right around 700,000 boxes being sold. We still think that that's a very reachable number, and we expect about 90%. So we always want to see that girls that are in troops. We know that some girls kind of start out the year and leave, but we still expect about 90% of our troop girls to participate in this program. This says increase, but really we are going to try and hit that 230, but we still believe we can hit that 255. We're just lowering the expectation just in case, just for planning purposes, as we do have a price increase. Even though we don't think it'll affect the sale that much, we do believe that we'll see probably a 4.5% to 6% drop in our sale. But overall, we do expect troops will increase their troop proceeds because we are increasing those to 60 cents per box. It used to be starting at 50 cents, and now we're going to just jump it right up to 60, and that is for any box sold between a 0 and a 224 box per girl actually selling. Please know that the averages are based on girls actually selling, not girls that are in your troop, just actual selling. Girls, if you have 50 girls and only 40 of them sell, then that's perfect. And even though we'd like to see that average be about 45 to hit our 90%, we do expect to see our girls will be able to sell at least that amount. All of them are going to be able to earn 60 cents per box sold for every box sold. If your girls average 225 to 299, they're going to be able to earn 65 cents. So a whole extra 5 cents for every single box sold. If your girls can average 225 to 299, another 5 cents for troops that hit 300 to 399, and another 5 cents that just keeps adding on there for girls that sell 400 plus boxes per girl actually selling. That is an extra 25 cents from the 50 to 75 cents of the quarter of the proceeds. We increase the price from $4 to $5. It's a 25% increase. Troops can earn that entire 25% of what we increased if they can hit that 400 plus boxes per girl. And then of course we have a bunch of fun rewards. All of these really do speak the language of these fun little rewards speak the language of girl. Girls look at this and this is what they see. These are the items that they want to earn. And we understand that not everybody is going to love. Maybe a 17-year-old ambassador Girl Scout is not going to love every one of these little trinkety things, but that's not the true value. They might start having eyes more like their parents, more like their troop leaders, where the true value comes in both the troop proceeds and then, of course, our cookie dough program. And this is super important to be able to talk to our parents and our girls about that. This is where the true value, this is what's going to pay for their membership next year, or pay for camp, or pay for a little spending spree inside of our Girl Scout store. This is where the true value of our Girl Scout cookie program is within our cookie dough, cookie cash program credits, however you want to think of it. It's cookie cash that girls can then spend on their Girl Scout adventures for the rest of the year. If you are selling enough cookies, you really aren't having to pay any more into Girl Scout. Your hard work pays off so that everything else you do, plus some, is going to be paid for through the cookie program. So that's why we do it, and that's where the true value is. The next thing I want to point out is the initial order at 250 plus boxes. Girls can earn this cool little sports pack. The digital cookie program has a patch for just sending 18 plus emails. That's all there is to earn that. It's not about, and it is emails within the digital cookie system, not outside of that. Then we have the SCFTH, or the Cookies and Milk from the Heart program. If they sell 15 plus boxes, they earn the patch. If they can sell 30 plus, they're going to earn this cool mermaid mirror. And then of our Goal Getter Diva patch, which is really there to say just keep selling. After the initial order ends on January 29th and through February 22nd, sell 30 plus more. There's a little spot inside of our system to be able to add those. If you add 30 plus there, girls are going to earn their Goal Getter Diva patch. But the cookie program does start January 12th through the January 28th. That is our initial order, or our order card time period. So we are taking our order cards and we're going and collecting orders from our friends, neighbors, churches, businesses, whoever wants to buy some, pre-order their cookies. This is where you do it. Digital Cookie actually started on Saturday, last Saturday, and it goes through the entire time that we're going right now, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But for this order card time period, do know that the digital order card cookies that are for girl delivery are going to need to be added to their order cards just like any other order. So do tell parents that are participating in the online sales program that they do need to put those orders on the order card. One thing to know is on January 12th, there is no specific start time. Lots of things say 3 o'clock or 7 or whatever it is. Right on January 12th, whether that's January 12th at midnight in the morning, then it is go time and there is no specific start time. We do ask that girls that are taking orders are collecting money up front, and then they're going to turn these order cards into their Troop Cookie Manager so that the Troop Cookie Manager can then put it into eBuddy, which happens on Wednesday, January 31st. So the sale ends on the 28th. You have about 1 or 2 days to collect those order cards, whether that's somebody taking a picture of it and then sending it to you, or whatever that might look like. And then you're going to have those in. Your drop dead date is Wednesday, January 31st. By midnight, you have to have your initial order in. And we'll talk more about that, especially if you've never done this before. I'll take you through eBuddy at the end of this so that you can see exactly how to do that. Oh, I must have clicked off of there. The next phase of our sale, so that was the initial order. That's a big chunk of what we do. And then the next area is kind of the sale between sales. It's goal getter cards. What this really is to let girls and parents know that they can just keep on selling. There is zero reason to stop selling. Just because you turned in your order card, and some people like to continue using their order card rather than the goal getter order. It's just a smaller version of the goal getter card, but you can continue to keep selling through January 29th. So if we just ended on the 28th here, the very next day, we're into goal getter cards up to February 22nd. And if I jump ahead, 2 spots, we're going to see that booth starts on the 23rd. So this is just the sale between sales. And if a girl can sell 30 plus items, cookies, during that time period, they're going to in their Goal Getter Diva patch. There is a GG column in eBuddy that you mark that the girl sold 30 cookies during that time period, and she's going to earn her Goal Getter Diva patch. The ultimate message of this is just keep selling. There's some tips and tools that we have, and I'll send out lots and lots of emails to help walk you through this process, but just let troops know that they can keep, or girls know that they can keep selling. The next step is somewhere in that goal getter time period, we actually have our cookies being delivered. So we had our initial order was submitted, and we then started our goal getters. But now we're just waiting kind of for our cookies to actually be delivered. And that's going to happen somewhere between February 16th and the 20th. So once we get our cookies delivered, we are, well, first of all, when we show up to wherever the service unit gets their delivery, we're going to show up there with the right size vehicle. We're going to make sure our vehicle is clean, that we don't have anybody smoking in the vehicle while cookies are being transported, that dogs or kids are getting into those, and we're going to have a safe place to put our cookies when we get home to sort, separate, and do it. But one of the tips when you show up to pick up from your service unit is, first of all, the troop should already, or the service unit should already have them separated for you. So then you're going to pull out the amount that you should do in full cases. That means 12 boxes is in every case, and you do get delivered in full cases for your initial order. But you're going to count them. You're going to count one more time. Then you're going to sign a receipt, and then you're going to load. Anytime money or cookies changes hands, whether it's between a service unit and the troop and a girl, you are always going to do this process. You're going to separate them, you're going to count one more time, you're going to sign your receipt, and then you're going to load. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to have a list of all of your girls, and you can pull these reports from eBuddy to sort and see exactly what each girl ordered, and you're going to separate them. You're going to count with the parent that is picking up. You're going to count it one more time to make sure down to the box everything is right, 8 different varieties, and sometimes we are talking about thousands of cookies here, or most likely for the initial order, probably close to 250 to 500 boxes at the most, but it's a big portion of what you might be able to do. You're going to count one more time to make sure it's right. You're going to sign one of those little cookie receipts, and then you're going to load for the girl to be able to take all of their items and be able to do it. Every time money or cookies changes hands, this is the process. Separate, count again, sign a receipt, and then finally load. And encourage girls to be getting those cookies then delivered. As soon as you've got your cookies, you've sorted, separated them, have a plan to get them out to the girls very, very quickly. So if you're getting them on the 16th, the 17th, you should be for sure having every parent come and pick up those cookies. So when you know what your service unit is doing, you're going to want to be able to very quickly turn around, get them out to your girls, and then out for delivery. And Becky, did you have a question?
No, I was just trying to do something.
Okay,
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm going to put you back on mute. So that is the process every single time. It's because as soon as we get our cookies, so that was the 16th through the 20th, as we get our cookies, we need to be delivering them out to our customers because booth sales start that very next weekend. So we have the 16th through about the 22nd to go and deliver all of our cookies out to our customers. As soon as we do that, the next weekend, starting on a Friday, booth sales begin. One thing to know is that is National Girl Scout Cookie Weekend. We don't, once again, it's one of those things that we want you to know, but we don't really do anything because we know how busy you guys are. If we did a big bash on that weekend, troop leaders would be so irritated with us because they're trying to sell their cookies, and that is the best weekend to be selling cookies. But we do let you know that that's what's happening. If you get anything from GSUSA, you do know that it's National Girl Scout Cookie Weekend. Within the booth sale process, there are two different types of booth sales, plus kind of a extra thing that is a different way to do booth sales. A My Sale is a booth that you are doing out, that you have found your own location with your troop. So you have a mom and pop, or you own a store or a business, and you say, sure, I don't mind if our troop sells out in front of my business. You found that location. It's your own place that you want to do, or just anybody that you know or have an in with. We do have like a troop that sells at Cabela's. Unfortunately, nobody else can get into Cabela's because they've kind of locked it up and they don't let anybody else in. So that's, unfortunately, we don't have that as a council sale. A council sale is one that we have set up, so it's the big box retailers like Walmart's, Fred Meyer's, Albertsons, and anybody else that is willing to partner up with us. We actually set those locations up. They are usually your best bets for really high sales volume because people are coming and going from those stores quite a bit. And so we set those all up. You'll see them in eBuddy in the next week or so. We will have a list of what we normally do. That does not mean every single location that I put on there does not mean that we've confirmed it. But in the next couple of weeks, you'll see what we normally do, what the normal times that they are. We usually do 3-hour blocks from like 9 to 12, 12 to 3, 3 to 6, and 6 to 9, Friday through Sunday. And those are kind of our normal booth spots. And that means that a troop would then go and put up their table, set out their cookies, and sell directly to the public. Booth sales are our way of selling to the public, not people that we know or people, our neighbors or businesses. We are selling to the public as they just show up for us. And that is a troop activity. We do consider this something that most of the time you should be doing with your troop. Our council booth scheduling happens in 3 different rounds, and it starts Sunday, January 21st. So we're kind of going back in time so that you can prepare, have enough time. So we're going to schedule all these January, this in the next couple of weeks, but you won't actually go to any of your booths until February 23rd. But the scheduling happens here in the next couple of weeks, and you do want to be ready for that. Do not miss out on this. It's okay if you're not there right at 7 p.m. on these first 2 slots, because the first round opens, all of the slots open up on Sunday, January 21st at 7 p.m. They go from gray to being green. If they're green, it means that there's a slot open. You are able to select 2 different time slots. That's, again, from 9 to noon, noon to 3, whatever that is, from 2 different businesses. And that's not just like a Walmart in Ammon and a Walmart in Idaho Falls. That is 2 completely different organizations. So an Albertsons and a Walmart, a Fred Meyer's and a Smith's, whatever that is, you can pick 2 slots, 2 different booth slots from 2 different businesses. The next round is on Wednesday, January 24th and 7 p.m. You probably don't want to miss this round, but if you did, you'd still be able to get in there and find some spots because troops are limited to 5 total slots. That means you get 3 additional. The 2 from here plus 3 equals 5 total slots, and those can be back-to-back from any store of your choice. So it can be 1 full day of Walmart. Good luck trying to do that, but that's what you can do, is get all of your slots from any business, whether it's the same store or different stores, however you want to do it, for the 4 weekends that we have booth sales. Then the final round, which you really don't want to miss because the booth sales go quickly here. You're going to want to start Saturday, January 27th at 7 p.m. You do want to be at your computer for this, or have somebody that's ready to get in there and pick a few spots, because these go fast. Once this is, it's just open scheduling. Schedule as many as you would like for your troop. And I say that again, very, very specifically. This is for your troop. It is not for mom and me sale. So I'm coming back up here. A mom and me sale is very, very specific. 1 adult, so it can be a mom, but it could also be a dad, a grandparent, whatever the parent feels comfortable letting their child sell with. But it is 1 adult and 1 girl. There are a few stipulations. There is a contract that any girl that wants to do mom and me sales needs to fill this contract out, and they need to watch a short video, which is good for anybody that's the first time that they're doing booths, because it really does walk you through the basic process of what a booth sale looks like and how not to be rude at a booth sale, cleaning up after yourself, making sure you approach people only as they leave. Things that are just good to know on how we actually approach booth sales. But that doesn't, you can't, during these time slots, you can't schedule troop booth or mom and me booth sales, only for the troop. After 2 days, so starting on Monday, you can start scheduling mom and me booths with whatever booth slots are still available. Please, please, please do not start scheduling mom and me booths with these first rounds. These are meant for troops, and then girls that want to continue to sell get the scraps. That's just the way it works. People ask me all the time, what if I picked a slot on that first round, it's the first weekend, and then all of a sudden the 3 girls that were going to work that booth, 2 of them can't do it. You need to make an ethical decision right there on how you're going to either open it up for a few minutes, maybe you open it up for 30 seconds, count to 30, and then select it again, or if you can try and get more girls from your troop to be able to utilize that spot. It's your own ethical decision on whether or not one girl will just end up filling that spot, but really they should not be done with the intent to only have one girl and one parent selling at that booth. That's just not what they're made for. The next thing is you're going to run out of cookies. You should run out of cookies. You should run out of cookies several times during the cookie program. If you're not, you've taken too many cookies and you're going to be sweating bullets at the end of the sale. Please utilize our cupboards. We have one of our cupboards online tonight. Janice runs a cupboard out of her house in the Idaho Falls area. We have one at the council headquarters, which will be a little bit different this year. If you've done this before, we just moved, so it will be a little bit different structure. We don't have a drive-through parking lot, so we'll be working out some of those kinks this year and taking advice from anybody that thinks that they can make it better when we're done with the season. But there are cupboards all over the area, and that is a specific term. Some people start to call these pantries or different things when they call and ask for help, but it is a cookie cupboard is what we call it, and that is just a place where you can place an order and go get more cookies. Usually we like to deliver those in full cases, but towards the end of the season, you can get individuals to fill last-minute goal-getter orders or whatever that might be. And those are running, our cupboards are open through the entire booth sale period so that you can get more cookies as needed. Banking guidelines. Once again, if you have 2,000 boxes that your troop sells, you might have at one point $10,000 sitting in your bank. Hopefully never that much all at one time, because we're going to do some ACH pulls, but you're going to be dealing with lots and lots of money. You need to make sure that you are holding all of your parents accountable to get all that money, making regular deposits to get it into the bank. We use what's called an ACH, or an electronic withdrawal. So that means that we draw the money directly from your bank account. If you don't have a bank account yet, get one. Now, if you are with a bank that is a for-profit bank, well, lots of banks are for-profit, but if you're with a national chain, I would highly recommend that you start looking for a new bank. If you're with Wells Fargo, US Bank, Chase Bank, I haven't heard as many bad things about what happens, but when you're depositing large amounts of cash into a bank account, they will start to fee you if you're not with the right bank. So make sure that you're either with somebody like Idaho Central Credit Union, who is just a fabulous bank to bank with. DL Evans at least lets us know exactly how their schedule of fees work. Bank of the or First Interstate Bank we have some relationships with them that they've helped us out, and to a lesser extent, Icon Credit Union, which is a much, much smaller branch, or there's very few branches available, but they are probably the best bank to go because they have zero fees and work with us very, very well if anything did come up. But once again, do make sure you have the right bank account for doing business banking. You are a business. As a Girl Scout bank, or as a Girl Scout troop, you are using a business bank account or a nonprofit. It's an organizational account, and so there are sometimes different fees than you're used to. The next thing to know is setting up check recovery. You can either act as your own collection agent, you can decide not to take checks because they might bounce, or you can set up automatic check recovery with a company like North Star, which then when a check bounces, it automatically gets sent to them. And there is no fee for the troop, but you only get reimbursed when the company North Star actually collects that money. So that could be up to 2 or 3 months from when you dropped the check into the account. So just know that it's up to you on how you do bad checks, because we do not reimburse the bad check, but we will reimburse the fee. So if your bank charges you $20 for depositing a bad check, you just submit proof of the bad check bouncing, and we will then cut you a check or ACH it, or just take it out of what you owe us at the end of the sale to make sure that you get your money reimbursed. Because $20, you know, in bank fees is 40 boxes being sold. That's a lot of boxes to have wasted on a bad check that bounced. But then it is up to you to actually recover those funds. One of the reasons that it's nice to, if you accept checks during the initial order, you'll be able to deposit them before you actually deliver the cookies. If you find out that a check bounced, then know who gave you that check. So if it was a parent, tell them not to make that delivery until that actually goes through. That's usually the best way to be able to handle check recovery, is don't deliver the cookies to anybody that wrote you a bad check. And it's just that easy. Oh, sorry. And I already just talked about the bank fee reimbursement. So we are scheduled for 3 different draws. Last year, the only people complaining about our 3 draws, especially these 2 early ones, are people that cheated the system. So please don't cheat the system. If you do this honestly, there is no reason that you shouldn't have the money in your bank during these time periods. Our first withdrawal is Monday, February 19th, 2018 for 25% or $1.25 per box of what the girls actually ordered on their initial order. Troop extras are not included in this amount. So if you want to, you know, if you only have 500 boxes that the girls actually sell, you have 5 girls, they each sold 100 boxes, and then you pull out another 500 boxes for your booth sales, the 500 for booth sales, those extras are for goal getters. We know that you haven't sold those boxes. That's not what's being counted here. Only the boxes that you tell me a girl actually sold. The only time people run into trouble here is people that cheat the system by putting 250 boxes on their initial order for a girl, and they didn't actually sell them. They just want to get every prize available, so they cheat the system and try to increase what they did. Well, when I see those numbers that everyone in your troop sold 250 boxes, I know you cheated the system, and that's why you don't have the money. Please don't do that. Be honest. If your girl didn't sell 250 boxes during the initial order, don't cheat the system. Be honest. Let the girls that actually went out there and worked hard to do that earn that initial order prize. It just isn't worth it, because then I am going to come after you, and if it bounces, I'm going to charge you those fees for it bouncing. So that's the first pull, and I do send out a little invoice about a week before to tell you how much you actually owe for this. The next pull is Monday, March 5th. This is 2 weekends now after your booth sales, and I am only going to do an additional 50% of that initial order. Once again, no troop extras. None of the booth sales that you've been doing are even calculated into that. If you don't have the money by March 5th, you are doing this program wrong. You are not holding people accountable, and you are not collecting the initial order money that you should have been collected, and you haven't been boothing. You have not been doing a good job. Ask for help at this point. If you don't have money by March 5th to be able to cover about 75% of your initial order, you're not doing this right. And finally, after all of the booths, after everything else is done, Monday, March 26th, is when we do the final balance due to the council. So whatever is left for what you actually owe to the council, that's when we do that final pull. And we leave all of your troop proceeds in your bank account. That's where your troop proceeds come from. I don't pull everything. I only pull what is owed to the council. So your 75 cents or 60 cents, whatever it was per box, is going to stay in your account. As long as you have collected every dime that you should have, and as long as you have sold every box, that's where your troop proceeds are going to be. If you don't sell every box, then your troop proceeds are wrapped up in the boxes that you still have sitting around. So sell out every single time. Your goal is always to sell out. So never take too much up at front. Always come back for more to the cupboards. Banking guidelines continued. So remember, we're collecting money up front when we're doing either goal getters or or the initial order. Do know if you're not collecting money at the time of booths and you're doing IOUs to customers that are just walking up off the street, again, you're doing it wrong. So make sure you're always collecting money up front at all times as much as possible. There are those cases where you know it's grandma buying a full case and you're going to take an IOU on the initial order. I highly recommend not doing that because it does come in, especially with family, it comes into lots of issues. But collect money up front as often as possible. Write a receipt every time a girl turns in money. It is your responsibility to make sure that when that money comes in, you've sat down, you've counted it one more time, you then sign the receipt, and then the money changes hand. A parent should never just be throwing an envelope full of money on the counter and saying, hey, it's all there, I'm going. Because when money issues do come up, troop leaders feel responsible and they start hiding it. Don't do that. Write a receipt every time. You keep a copy and the parent keeps a copy. And then, again, make regular deposits into your troop bank account. There is no reason for you to have $2,000, $3,000 sitting on your counter. The only safe place for Girl Scout troop money or cookie money is in a troop bank account. It should never ever be in your own account. It should never be anywhere else but a troop bank account. That's where it's safe. That's where it's federally insured. Make sure it's in an account as often as possible. If you have your initial order come in and you've collected all that money, the very next morning you should be turning that money into a bank and getting a deposit to make sure everything went through okay. Never ever hold on. And the final thing on money, and I say this every time, I know some of you that have seen this stuff before, please, 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 and I'm begging you, please, and every year there's at least one, please, please do not steal the money. It is not worth it. We do prosecute. We will hold you accountable. Do not steal the money from the troop. Do not steal the money from the council. It is not your money. You must understand that. You may have never seen $10,000 in a bank account, and that's okay. It is not your money to take. It is not your money to give or to take or to do anything with. And do not let parents steal the money. As a troop leader, we usually have a big heart. That's how we got talked into being a troop volunteer in the first place. Hold people accountable. If it's not you, if you aren't the kind of person that can go up to somebody and say, point blank, you owe me $500 and I need to see it by next week, otherwise I'm turning you into collections. If that isn't you and you can't see yourself doing that on a regular basis, find somebody in your troop that can help you with that. So even if you're still going to do most of it, find somebody, maybe their name is Bruno. Maybe they carry around a big stick with them all the time. Whatever it is, you need somebody that knows how to hold people accountable because money is a big deal and this is a business. If you worked at Target, you would be making sure that the till was correct at the end of your shift and you would be counting it and making sure that money got deposited into whatever safe is at that business every single night. You need to treat this the same way. It is a lot of money, and you need to make sure that you're holding everybody, including yourself, accountable, that it all turns out okay. So never hold on to it. Make sure each check, if you don't have an endorsement stamp, there is a form to fill out. I'll make sure that that's available. I'm getting some paper copies that we don't actually take paper copies of anything anymore, but we do have some people that need some endorsements, and I'm going to send that form out in eBuddy. If you need an endorsement stamp to be able to stamp checks so that you're not hand endorsing them, we'll have that form. It'll go out through eBuddy, fill out the form, and we'll get those ordered hopefully in the next couple of weeks so that everybody can have them, because I haven't had any of them come in on the form, so my guess is that it's not showing up. So if you need that, make sure you have it, because your hand is going to cramp if you're dealing with a bunch of checks that you have to hand endorse. Closeout. Couple of things to know is that just make sure you hold on to everything. Make sure you report any parent bad debt that comes your way. I know that you love the girls, and I know you don't want to hold people accountable, but if they just straight up didn't turn in $500 to $1,000, that could mean your entire troop proceeds go down the drain. If your parent bad debt is certified and approved, then you're going to get, I don't know the percentage right now. I'd have to calculate it. You're going to get everything but the troop proceeds that those cookies would have earned. Basically, I'm making it like it didn't happen. I'm going to cut you a check back to make sure it doesn't hurt the rest of your troop if one parent doesn't pay. But it does need to be that you've collected all the right information, meaning you had a receipt every time they picked up cookies, you had a receipt every time they turned in money, and that I can see that I can turn them in and have the evidence that they said that they were going to be responsible because they filled out a permission slip. So make sure you have all of that and any of these other things that you might need to keep on hand. So the next thing to know is how to work eBuddy. Or how to get in. Hopefully all of you guys are already there and you got in because you got this email. But you do need to have the TOF2824 password to get in the first time, unless you did it. Sometimes people do it in the middle of summer and they forget that they used the I forgot my password function and they get back in. This doesn't do any good after you've already gotten in. You just keep using whatever password you used then. So that is the default password for the new year. If you haven't got in yet, let me know, but all of you did get access because you all got this email. The next thing for technology is the digital order card program that is going on right now. It started on the 6th and it will continue on through the rest of our season. It is the most complicated part of our sale. A couple things to know about it is that girls can sell online, and this is the only way they can sell online. The other ways that they try to sell online are things like eBay or the Facebook buy sell trade. You cannot advertise on Facebook buy sell trade sites or in eBay or in a marketplace or on Amazon or Craigslist. If you want to advertise online for your daughter, the only place you can do it is on your own personal Facebook and set the settings to friends only. So you can't have it open to the public. It needs to just be to friends. And other sites like Instagram, you don't control who follows you all the time, or you don't know everybody. So we ask that you don't post it on Instagram. We ask that you don't put it on Twitter, because those sites are open to the public, that anybody that's following you is going to be able to see it. And we do ask that you keep it as much to people that you actually know as possible to make it fair when you're advertising for the digital cookie program, or if you're just selling even live. Please don't advertise to any of those spots. Those spots are prohibited, and it is considered online selling if you're putting it on there with a price tag. It is synced to eBuddy, but do know that as much as it's synced, the girl delivery option, where a girl would take the order online, get payment online, and then actually go and deliver the cookies in person, is the most complicated thing we do. It's very odd, but just know that it's exactly like any other order except for the payment came in online. That's really all it means, but it still is very, very confusing in how it looks in eBuddy. Once again, all of these types of instances, if you're in a beg barter sale, want ads in the Treasure Valley, it's Girl Scout, please don't do that. Please don't have your link available. Same with on anything that is in any other big barter trail, whatever that is, please don't put them in those spots. But here's how it looks, and this is, I'm going to briefly go over this, and then I'll show you some examples as we move into the eBuddy training for anybody that wants to stay ahead of that, or stay for that section of it. The DOC ship, so DOC stands for Digital Order Card. Just think digital cookie. If you want to skip the O, that's fine, because otherwise people's DOC can mean Department of Corrections. It can mean lots and lots of different things, but DOC ship means it was shipped directly to the customer. And so when a customer from California buys from my daughter and they say, I want it shipped, it's automatically going to add that to the girl's account, saying that 5 boxes were added. Here they are. The amount due was $20. This year it'll be $25. The amount paid, which came in automatically, was $25 or $20 in this case. And then the balance due for that transaction is 0. They are completely done. Then we have DOC donated. Once again, the boxes are added automatically to the girl. So this girl is Angela D. She had 5 boxes that were donated in her honor, basically. And the 5 boxes show up here. She's credited with them. They're adding to her total. So 5 here, 5 here, 183. The amount due was, again, $20, or this year it would be $25. The amount was paid automatically. A troop leader didn't have to do any of these things to do any of this, and the amount due is 0. The confusing one is girl delivery. DOC deliver, if you look, all of these spots have a big 0 on them, and the total is 0. But I can see that a payment came in for something. But because there's no cookies here, I don't know what the total due should have been. Well, it's $20, so I know that last year it would have been 5 boxes were ordered, and they should have been able to be shown up here. But I don't know if those got wrapped up in her initial order, because if she added that digital order card order, and she said, yes, I will deliver these directly to you, then she knows that she's supposed to, or you guys need to tell your parents, add any time that they accept it, because that's the only time it'll show up in eBuddy, is if the girl's parent actually says, yes, I will make that delivery. Then they'll see it, it'll show up, and then they're supposed to put it before the initial order onto their initial order card. And that's where it would show up right here in their initial order. So you wouldn't see those boxes, but you would take the 648 minus 20, and then the girl would only turn in $628, and I would know that the other 20 was paid through an online system, and that would mean that she owed 0. That's not the case here. This one, they ended up having 32 extra, probably because they overcharged the parent for what was due. Once again, this is the most complicated process that we have. And there's going to be lots and lots of emails that show you exactly how to do this. If the girl didn't add it to her own order card and put it in the initial order, how to correct those. It's very complicated. All of the money, once again, here's how it shows up on the troop sales summary. It's all automatic. So all of the cookie boxes that are added to your total, because there are anything that's shipped, automatically gets added to your total. So they all show up for your total packages that you sold. And each payment that comes in goes against the total that you owe the council. So these are payments that are actually coming to the council and credited to your troop and credited to the girl. Just know that it all does work out in the end. It's easier to see the end process than it is in the middle of this sale. Just follow all of the instructions that I give you and the girls to know how to do this. And life will be so much easier if you can do it that way. And we'll just keep moving because you're going to see lots and lots of emails. I'm going to skip the scenarios for time. A couple other things to know is that this year there is a new eBuddy app. It does almost everything eBuddy can do, and I'll talk about what it can't do on the next slide. The digital cookie app, so for each of you that are participating in digital cookie, you can use the app. It is a way to sell cookies and take credit card for an individual girl, never for troop. It does get shut down during the booth time, so you can use it during initial order, and you can use it during goal getter, and then it does get shut down for individual girl use during booth sales, because I don't want you troops trying to find a way to use it for their booth sales. So please know that it does get shut down at a certain point. Then there's the cookie finder. There's also the cupboard keeper app that only the cupboard uses. The cupboard uses this to process transactions. When you place an order in eBuddy, it automatically gets sent to the cupboard. The cupboard knows that you're planning on coming. Then you'd show up and you would sign using your eBuddy credentials to be able to get your cookies released so that you can take them home. So that new eBuddy app, you can download it. What it won't do is you can't add troop users, you can't add girls, and you can't do any of your booth site selections with it. So those are the main things. You guys never get to add deposits, and you probably aren't going to enter your gift of caring organization if you're doing that program. So don't worry about it too much, and you can't pull reports. But all of the basic things that you're doing, if you want to check things, it is a much easier thing to see and look at and be able to follow eBuddy from your mobile phone versus trying to do it through the old system on the website. It's very, very hard to see, and it's very hard to place orders and do things like that. So this should help out quite a bit. Card sliders. If you want to take credit cards or debit cards at a booth, that is for every troop to decide. It does cost about 14 to 20 cents per box because of the new price increase. So do know what your own rates are. A missed sale is a missed sale. If I was going to sell one box with a card slider to somebody that wasn't going to purchase otherwise, even though I might be paying that 15 cents or 20 cents, it's still it's still about 45 cents in profit to me to actually use that card slider. You can set limits or minimum purchases, so you can say, unless you buy 5 boxes, we don't let you use a credit card. You can also wait until the customer requests it, so that way if they do have cash, they use that first, or if they have check, you might want to do that because there's usually less fees for doing it that way. But if somebody is going to walk away from the sale, having a card slider is worth it. Sometimes you even get the first $1,000 for free, so sometimes it's worth it that first year to use a credit card slider. And more I'm hearing people sell about 25% more when they have the card slider. So very much worth it to have one. It is up to every troop to set that up with their troop bank account. So it needs to be set up so that it's attached to your troop bank account, that when money is collected, it drops directly into your account, not your little side business that you've always had a credit card slider. Intuit, Square, lots of different companies offer. Sometimes your own bank will have one. So if you're interested in a card slider for your troop, just go and ask some questions or look it up online, and somebody will usually even send you one of the little things to hook into your phone for free. Our donation programs. We have the Gift of Caring program, which is troop run. You do everything. That troop chooses their own donation organization. The troop creates their own marketing material. The troop collects all the money for every box that they sell. And they are also going to have the cookies at the very end. Couple things to know with both donation programs. You should always try and sell out and then come to the cupboard to get more. Never actually set boxes aside. Even if you have somebody take a Thin Mint and put it into the donation bin, that does not mean that you have to donate that Thin Mint box. Try and sell out of all your cookies. Always attempt. It is a inventory control system for both programs. Work for inventory control. For your troop, you don't want to be stuck giving away good boxes of Thin Mints and Samoas when you've got a whole case of Savannah Smiles. That's just not worth it. So always make sure that you sell out and then come to a cupboard and pick up. If you sell 45 boxes for Gift of Caring, whatever organization, if you pick the Boys and Girls Club or for the military or for the whatever it might be, that's what that's for. You are in complete control over that, and you do need to mark the boxes in eBuddy that it's a GOC inside the system. It is a great way to upsell, so when somebody has made their purchase for themselves, you hit them with, also, would you like to donate a box? It's a way just to say, please buy one more box or maybe a couple more boxes for whatever reason. The council-run donation program is a little bit different. It's a virtual donation program. The difference is that we've already picked the organization. It's the Idaho Food Bank. And we are actually going to make the delivery for all of the troops that participate in this program. So you're going to mark it as a Cookies from the Heart box. You're going to mark it down. You can even symbolically put it in a bin when you're at a booth sale when you're doing these. And once again, donation programs run for the entire program. It can be run during the initial order. There's a spot on the order card that you can do it. There is during Goal Getters, again, there's a spot for it, and during the booth time. You can run a donation program the entire time. But we've picked the organization. We're going to provide you with the marketing materials. So we have a couple of box displays, and this year we'll have a couple of big posters that troops that are participating can have at their booth so that they can display and be able to quickly explain how it works, because it is a little bit fun with the partnership with Dairy West or the United Dairymen of Idaho that give us some things to help with this. The troop still collects the money, so you still make the sale, $5. You can symbolically put a box over into the bin, and then you're going to go and mark it in the system as a Cookies from the Heart box but you will never have this inventory in your inventory. You're going to mark it. It's a sale. The troop is going to get credit. They're going to get their 75 cents or 60 cents or whatever in between there per box for each one of these boxes. And the girl will get credited for a sale and be able to keep earning her rewards. But you will never need these boxes in your inventory. At the end of the sale, it'll tell you you had 15, 20, 45, 100, 1,000, whatever of these boxes, but it'll also say you don't actually need them in your inventory. Don't go to the cupboard and pick up another 1,000 boxes because it'll throw your inventory all out of whack. So then we as a council take all of our cookies, or we order them from the baker when we're done, because I usually sell out, and then we go and we fill this to the Idaho Food Bank for you. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to deliver. All you had to do is actually make the sale and collect the money. And that's the two different programs. For the Cookies from the Heart, there is a patch, and also that if you sell 30 plus items, there's another little thing. Pick one or the other. Do not do both. If you do both, it's going to confuse you in the end. Then we have the 5 for 5 program. It's the 9th year in a row that we've done this. It is the top selling girl's best tool to sell in 5s and 10s. You really do want to be using the 5 for 5, because when somebody says, yes, I'd like 3 boxes of Thin Mints and, well, let's just make one more box for Samoas. And then you hit them with, well, you know, if you buy 5 boxes, you can actually be entered to earn 5 cases. And there is one per area, association area. So there's one in Idaho Falls, one in Pocatello, one in the Twin Falls up to the Magic Wood River Valley, and then also one for the Boise and then the Nampa area or that side. So we have one winner. We do split it up, or one winner in each of those areas. So 5 winners win 5 cases of cookies for buying 5 boxes and entering their code. We have about 10,000 entries every year. People do enter this contest. They are excited about it. It is once again, it's a great way to upsell, just like the the donation program. If you're just asking at the end of your sale, and it's great in conjunction with the donated cookie program, because if you say, you know what, you're at 4 boxes, would you also like to donate a box and enter to win 5 cases at the end of the season? It's just a great way to talk people into buying one more box, and that helps increase your sale. And it is 5 boxes for only $25. There are the websites. Once again, I showed you one of them, and we'll take you through it really, really, really quick, just so that you guys can once again see what we're doing here. I'm going to put it over here. So in case you are trying to you're going to go to our website, the Cookies Plus, and then our resources. We have tons of links, all your banking stuff that you might need to have. All of these will be filled in as we've created them for the new year, so watch for those to turn green. All of these, like this hasn't been created, but the Mom and Me booth sale contract is on there that you can use. We will have both the Walmart booth rules that you do need to have at many of your things. Still s'mores materials available. If you want a digital copy of the troop manual, it's worth it to have it on your phone so that you can look it up, well, even when you're out and about, versus always carrying around a big book with you, or you can just come here and look it up right there. But that is where you're going to find most of your cookie resources. For girls that want to get into the digital cookie program, there is a 4 cookies sellers, and the only thing that's actually underneath that is the digital cookie registration form, that if somebody isn't getting into digital cookie yet, or they haven't seen their email come in to let them in, this is where you can send those girls to be able to get access to that. I'm going to push this over here. Plus the Girl Scouts national cookie site, and also Little Brownie Bakers has a lot of information. Please, 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 please use our membership support team and not me. Me and Aurora are rarely at our desks to be able to answer cookie questions. We are just not required to be at our desk. While we're a great resource and we have a lot of information and we're really good at answering your questions, we're just not always there. Your best bet is to call our membership support team or email cookies@girlscouts-ssc.org and get your information from them. They usually have a quicker answer for you than me. Even then, it's probably better to go to your service unit, because if you're asking when is my delivery coming, your service unit is going to know that much quicker than I will. So it's probably your best bet to go to them first, then go to the membership support team. But if it's a weekend, nobody's answering these phones or answering these emails. And that's when a lot of times these questions come up. So do make sure you're using all your resources, but if it's during the week, during regular business hours, or if it's not urgent, just shoot us an email and we'll make sure we get back to you and we'll get you a quick answer. And some of the marketing, we did just finish up the Cookie Stars contest. We are going to have those announced here very shortly. And that is where all of our girls end up on our materials for the next year and are on all the billboards and marketing materials for this year. Then we have actually the same program at a national level is this Cookie Pro contest. The Cookie Pro contest is how the next girls on these boxes are going to be chosen at the national level. So do look for GSUSA promoting this and how to get your information submitted if that's something you're interested in. Once again, the Cookies and Milk contest, so we'll have some different things going on with that. That'll be a lot of fun. We have the s'mores material, and we will have some actually tabletop displays that help you guys promote what you're doing, because we know that you're going to get some questions about the price increase, or at least a few people that are going to grunt at it. And we want to help support you by reminding customers that the main value in the Cookie program is what it does for the girls. It is not about just selling another box of cookies because you get, probably $2.50 worth of really tasty cookies, and then the other $2.50, what happens to it? Well, it goes to supporting girls, goes to supporting troops, it goes to supporting everything that we do as Girl Scouts. So that's really, really what it's about, and we want to help provide materials that support that. Plus of all of our big marketing, just know our big push for marketing for any radio or billboards all happens for booth sales, because I never want to point customers to the girls, which is just kind of creepy. So just know that everything that we do is a council-wide during booth sales, because we can point them to an Albertsons or a Walmart where we feel safe that those are a good spot. Are there any questions before we jump into eBuddy training? Because I am going to take anybody that wants to stick around for the next 15 minutes to quickly go through eBuddy, but you can just take yourself off of mute if you have any questions. All right, then I am going to jump into eBuddy mode, and normally I do this through a series of slides, but the nice thing is I can actually show you guys in real time. So we are going to log in, and I am going to pick a victim. I'm going to jump to last year's season because it's easier to see when sales numbers are actually in there. And I'm going to jump to somebody. So I'm going to use the same example. Well, let's do 307 that I've used before. And we're going to go through this fairly quickly. Just know that I have the ability to jump to, which means that I can see exactly what you see. So if you ever have, and I do see that Janice had a question. I don't know exactly what the timeline when that came in, but what is the link for the Mom and Me video? It just hasn't been uploaded yet, so it'll be uploaded here shortly so that you guys can start having people watch that. And they do need to submit a receipt to you at the end. It does have a thing that says submit this to your troop leader so that people know that that's what they need to do. But it is a little Captivate video, and I'll see if I can play it for you guys just so you can see how it kind of works. But let's go ahead and look at 307. All right. So when you enter into your dashboard, you're going to see a couple of things. And once again, this is last year, so everything is going to be locked. But you're going to be able to see all the DOC deliveries that happened. You're going to see a timeline of when things are due next. And then you have possibly some little messages and your to-do list over here, your checklist, and who your service unit cookie manager is right over here. So that's where you're going to find that information, is just over here on the side. Couple of things to note. This is, the dashboard is great, but you're never going to look at it after the first time you get in. Honestly, people look at it the first time, and if I've ever put any notes here, they almost always get ignored. So I know that what's going to happen is you're going to jump right to the tab that you're supposed to be working in. So while this is nice and there's a lot of good information and it may have a few reminders on there, mostly it's these other tabs across the top that are going to be very helpful. So when we click on the Contacts tab, know that this is all that it is. It is a list of everybody in your troop that you have actually listed. And it is your responsibility as the troop leader to add more people if you want. You can be the only person in anybody, and that is perfectly fine. You are the Troop Cookie Chair. You're the one that filled out my contract, and I'm very thankful for that. And you are now responsible for your troop and who has access and who can pick up cookies and all of that. This, unfortunately, is not where you add more people to be used. That's on the settings page. All you can do is edit your own information. So if you decide that you're moving, you can edit that you're in a new location or your phone number has changed or whatever it is. You can edit your own information right here. Where you're actually going to add people and a little bit of other information is on, oh, and it's not going to let me even show you how to do that, but I might do it. This is the page that you would actually go into and put in your bank account information. So this is very important. There should be a big edit button, and you'd be able to edit and put in your bank information. Do it right, because you'll never be able to see what you actually entered again, because it'll exit out so that it can't be stolen if somebody's looking over your shoulder once you've actually entered it in. Then you'll once again see all of the different people that are listed in your troop and any other roles. So this is Troop Cookie Chairs, but you might have a leader or you might have somebody else. Let me actually quickly jump out and show you what that looks like, because I think that is an important page. Janice, do you mind if I use you? And Janice, are you 420? No, 473? 473, perfect. Just because I have her permission. When we jump in, we're going to jump to the settings. Oh, this is, oh, sorry, I'm still last season, so I need to jump to the new season. So maybe you're not as good as I thought you were, but we'll see how on it you are. Oops. So we're going to jump to 473, and we're going to be able to edit our settings. So as you can see, you're going to have a spot. Once I go in to edit my settings, I can quickly add whatever my bank name is, add my troop account, add my routing number, and get that all filled out just fine. Also, if I have mostly a Daisy, Brownie, or any of these groups, you do want to select what you are most of. If you really are a multi-generation or a multi-level troop, do pick other, and we do have a lot of those in our area. So know that that's what's going to happen. If you want to set a troop goal, you can set it right there. If you want to add your troop leader, so if you wanted to add me, as a troop leader, you'd just put me right in there, and that would be fine. If you want to make me the primary, whatever you would do, that's where you would add somebody else for a troop leader or a troop cookie chair. Do know that these roles have the same exact rights and responsibilities. If you're a troop leader or a troop cookie chair, you have full access to your troop and can do anything that the other person can do. If you are in either of these two roles, never, ever, ever add yourself to anything else. It'll lock you out of being able to do what you want to do. If it's in big and red and says troop leaders and troop cookie chairs should not add yourself, don't do it. You can already do this. You can already be a troop cookie pickup person with being the troop cookie chair or the troop cookie leader. Do not add yourself to a booth cell recorder only because you can already do this. You don't need to be added in this role because you can already do it. And if you make yourself view only, once again, if it says only, that is the only thing you'll be able to do. And then at the end of that, you just click update. If you have multiple people that you're going to have running to the cupboard to pick up cookies, you're going to want to add them, but you can only add them one at a time. Just so you know, if you are the troop cookie chair, you are never allowed to say you don't want to receive emails. You must always say you've actually signed the contract saying you will always receive these emails. You might accidentally turn it off, but if I ever see it, I am going to turn it on, and you just have to deal with it throughout the season because you signed a contract saying that you would take my emails because they are very, very important. But that's what that looks like. I'm going to jump back to my other season and keep going. Abandon my edits. Janice, if you happen to see that I made any changes accidentally, you can let me know and I'll fix them. We're going to go back to Troop 307. Contacts. I'm going to jump to so that we're looking at it just like you guys would see it. That's the only one. So that was the settings tab. That's where you add, and anybody you add will be added to the contacts list so that you can quickly look at them and see their information. The next tab over is your girls. Know that this is locked up until, I think I have it set right now for January 23rd, about the week before the initial order is going to be due. I then pull it off of being locked. That's so that I can sync it with the digital cookie program. I have to import girls, and I need to know their GSUSA ID number. And unfortunately, if you guys go in there and add a bunch of girls and then I import them, it's going to create a big mess and duplicates and things like that. So it is locked. If you want a girl to, once again, be added to the digital cookie program sooner than later, then they need to fill out that form that I showed you from our website. Or tell them to contact us, and we'll send them an information on how to find that and be able to get them in very, very quickly. You can never, ever delete girls, but you can this year inactivate them. So if you want to, there's going to be a button that says inactivate, and you just click it, and it'll make them so that they're not working, and it'll put them to the bottom of the list. But you can't make any changes to this site until, and you'll even be able to hide the inactive girls. You can't make any changes to this site until I open it up on the 23rd. And at that point, I stop importing girls into the digital cookie program because then you're going to be adding them as needed and making any corrections to their grade or whatever might be wrong. But this is just simply a list of the girls in your troop. And so you do want to verify that that looks right. If not, send product@girlscouts-ssc an email, and we will make sure that it gets corrected if you let us know. If you have a girl that you know moved to another troop, tell us immediately. If they are still participating and they need to be moved, I need to know about it so that their digital cookie cells don't end up on your troop and then I'm trying to unwind it later on. Very, very important to do that as soon as possible. The next page over is the initial order. This is what gets submitted on January 31st is when you're going to submit this. Each girl will put in whatever is on her order card, and girls should be, or their parents should be adding these up for you. You should not be taking line by line, adding up each girl's order, and then putting the totals in. A parent should do it, and I even recommend having them sign it to say that I certified that the numbers that you're going to put in are correct and I will be responsible for. So on that order card, they should be doing the math to add up their totals. You then come in and simply put them in. There's a row for Cookies from the Heart and Gift of Caring. Just know that once again, those don't actually add to your total. So you're not actually ordering any kind of Cookies from the Heart or donated cookie during this time. Just the real cookies, because that's what will actually be delivered to you. Even if they're Gift of Caring, because those are extras at the end, even if you had a bunch of them in there, it'll add to their total. It'll count towards their initial order goal, but it is not actually going to be ordered for you. And that's because they're extras at the end, not cookies that you want to have right now. And then just know, after you've added all the girls that are selling, so you've got them all added in here, you'll see their totals, then you can order extras. Extras are for both the goal getters and for the booth sales and maybe walkabouts, whatever other sales tactic that you have after the initial order, you can order more. I highly recommend that you only order for the first weekend of booths. please, please, please do not order more than what you think you actually need for the first weekend of booths and goal getters. There's no reason to take, I sold 2,500 boxes last year, I'm going to pull that all up front. Because if you get it wrong on the varieties, let's say you order way, way too many do-si-dos, you're going to have a hard time getting rid of them towards the end of the sale, and you're going to be stuck with a bunch of boxes. Order for what you think you need for your first weekend. And I have lots and lots of little tools to help you make those decisions. So one of the things that we have in the resources is a booth sale calculator. Let's see if we can see it here somewhere. It might not be there right now, but we do have a booth sale calculator and some other things that'll help you to make those decisions on how much of what variety you should be ordering. Don't go off of what your girls sold, because if you have one girl that somebody really, really loves do-si-dos or toffee-tastic, they might order 5 cases, and then you're like, well, I guess that's a really popular seller. They're lying to you. Don't go off those. Go off the council averages. That's your best bet. Know that your initial order is always delivered in full cases, and that's what it's going to tell you. So right here, this person actually did a good job of making sure that their final numbers actually equaled numbers that are divisible by 12. And so that way, they had full cases being delivered, and they knew that they didn't have any extras that they weren't aware of being delivered. It doesn't matter if you do have extras showing up here, but when you're talking about only wanting 2 cases of Toffee-tastic, what you don't want to do is accidentally have 1 full extra case here or 11 extra boxes that you weren't really prepared for. So if you notice that you're ordering 5 cases but you only wanted 4, just make sure you adjust down your extras a little bit to be right, so that it's exactly the way you want it. Most of the time it's not that big of a deal, but do know you're always going to get extras automatically delivered with the initial order, because it's always delivered by variety in full cases and 12 boxes per case. Oh, and then the delivery. So once you submit your initial order, there's the delivery tab. You'll see exactly how many cases, how many total cases you're going to get. You'd be able to pick a time slot if your service unit does that. It'll tell you where it's going to happen. And once you actually submit this, it'll show you how many vehicles you might need and any other information about exactly where your delivery is. So you'll submit your initial order. It'll actually tell you, you just submitted this. Make sure you confirm your delivery on the next tab over. Then the girl orders. After the initial order, everything jumps over into the girl orders tab. And this is where all of the rewards are pulled for the girls that sold. Please know that all of these numbers to me are fake. The only number that is real is this bottom number that says all of the troop packages you actually had plus your cookies from the heart. This is the number that I'm calculating how much you owe me and what your troop proceeds are based on. But all of the information over here, I don't actually know that Kylie R sold 550 boxes. I just have no idea. There's no way for me to prove that she sold that number. It's up to the troop leader to put these numbers in, and sometimes they're fudged a little bit. I highly doubt she sold exactly 550. I bet she sold maybe either a little bit more or a little bit less, but either way, that's the number that got put there. I don't know. However people decide to do booth sales, that's up to you to know how you're going to do that. Another thing that I am going to show you, well, there's no booths to show you, but there is a little button here that says when you click on each girl, you're going to open it up, and this is where you would add more to them. But if you do booth sales, you can actually add a booth sale. You can say, I sold 100 boxes, put it into the, sold 100 boxes at that booth. Both Kylie, Lila, and Rose were at that, divided equally, and it 33 would go to 2 of them, and then 34 would go to 1 of them, just because 1 of them had to have more. And it would equally divide pretty much who got what booth sales. And that's a good way to do booths. And if they did use it, it'll actually say that it was from this booth sale. Or at this one says This girl was here and she got 103 because she did 4.5 hours. So these guys are calculating how they divide out their booth sale cookies based on how many girls. So they wait till the end of the season, and it doesn't matter if they did the Walmart or the Walgreens or the Albertsons or whatever. They do it by 4.5 hours was a percentage of how many boxes they're going to get out of the total. However you decide to do booth sale distribution is up to you. But that's where you do it. You add, and then any other cookies. So this is what the other column is: digital cookies, walkabouts, whatever you want to call an other. It's just a catch-all. And then finally the goal getter, or the GG column, is goal getter. And if you want the girls to earn the goal getter diva patch, there needs to be at least 30 boxes. So these girls did not actually earn the goal getter diva patch, but anybody that had more than 30 all earned it. But it does have to be a 30 right there in that column. And then their total is what triggers all of the rest of the rewards. It's not by variety anymore. It does not matter. And even this year, this column, these specials are going away because there is no more $5 and $4 boxes. They're all $5, so everything will be simplified and you won't have any money issues because one of the extra boxes isn't right in there. Now, once again, all fake numbers for actual cookie boxes that you distributed to the girls. But over here, these are these ones are also made up. I don't know if this girl actually turned in all of her money on my side. You are telling me she did, but I really have no idea if this is true. Same with any of these other girls. I can't prove it. I don't know. These are just numbers that you're putting in there, and I never do anything with the money. This is just simply so that you're recording it for your own records. The thing that you must do is the paper receipts. If a girl turns in real money, you need to have a real receipt for that to prove that she turned it in. This can be fake. You can fill this out or not fill it out. It never does anything for my information, except for to know that you keep records well. This page on the transaction is very real for me. This means every time cookies either came into the troop or left the troop, this is the number, the 2,224 boxes plus their cookies from the heart is the number that I'm going to charge them at the end. But this is real inventory. This is what you should have seen at some point on your in your actual inventory. One last thing that I didn't point out. Whatever the number is, so this is the number, that 2224 plus the 29 boxes is how you get the 2253. That's the total number of boxes that you're paying for, and it's the total number that your girls should be distributed to. Even if you have 5 boxes left over, 100 boxes, 10 boxes, the troop, we never take cookies back. So you still want to keep selling them. If you do have cookies left over at the end of the season, first of all, just keep selling, because that's where your troop proceeds are going to be left at. But more than that, distribute them out to the girls. This number down here, the difference between what you actually took into inventory and what you distributed out to girls, should always be equal and become 0 at the very end of the sale. Okay? So that is the real numbers that you need to have. You always want to reach 0. Once again, this is every time they came to the cupboard, you're going to see CO1, or if they had digital cookie sales and it added to it, you're going to see each of those, and you'd see their initial order right here. It's the biggest one, everything that came in before the initial order. And on this case, you're seeing where they actually gave cookies to somebody or traded. Know that if you are giving cookies to somebody, it is up to a troop to actually take those cookies from you. You can never just give them to somebody else. There's a transaction button up here that you'd click, and then it'll pop up. And I might just show you on the slides really quick so that you can see that, because I can't show you here. Transaction, so this is the page that we were just looking at. And when you have that little add transaction, this is where you can place an order to the cupboard, or from another troop if that's the case. But you're going to order either in full cases or by a single box. That's called a package in eBuddy. I highly recommend cases when at all possible, whether it's goal getters or not. Try rounding up. It makes picking up so much easier. And when you're counting them, it's just way better when you do it that way. And always hit the save and print button, never OK. When you hit the save and print button, it automatically saves it. It might ask you to print it, and you don't need to. You don't have to have a printer, but the save and print button always saves it. If you hit OK and you walk out of the house and didn't hit the save button up over here, then it didn't actually do anything. It's just going to be sitting there and it'll be deleted out by the next time you show up. So do make sure that you actually hit the save and print, or make sure that if you say okay, then you go back and say the save button. And those will be found right over here when you're actually in the season. And that is the number that I actually charge you at the end. Once again, these are real numbers. This is when you come and pick up cookies. We are counting one more time. We're going to sign our eBuddy receipt, and then you're going to load. And that's how it'll always work at every cupboard. You count, sign the receipt or sign the eBuddy, and then you load. And that's how you pick up more cookies. And all of these are real numbers. Rewards. When you come in here, there'll be a spot to fill it out. You'll be able to see this is the initial reward. So in this troop, nobody actually earned that initial reward. And so their quantity is 0. Not a big deal. For the final ones, you're going to see that anybody that has choices is going to be highlighted in red. Once they've actually selected those choices, they're going to turn green. And then you'd be able to see your total of all the different items. So they had 5 goal getters, and that's what we saw in their things. It automatically calculates these for you, except for the choices, and then you'd need to go into the girl and actually go through and make the selection for whichever item they actually need. And that's how we do it, and then we would just submit. There's going to be a button that says fill out, and once you fill out, you'd be submitting them. Booth sites. So this is where it is. These will all be grayed out. And then as soon as you have access, you'd be in Boise or Garden City or Emmett or Rupert, wherever you might be, you're going to have a list of everything. There are no boundaries. There might be a few places that say you can't come in here, like a lot of the stores in Rexburg ask that only Rexburg troops use those. So it really is up to the store to ever put a limit on there. Otherwise, there are no limits. You can use any booth site in any city without fear of people being mad at you. Bigger cities, it's easier. Sometimes smaller towns, there are things that come up. But know that if I have set them up, they are for everybody to be able to select, not just one person. So as you can see, you'd be able to select it. So when it becomes that 7 o'clock on Sunday night on the 23rd or whatever it is, 21st, 22nd, you're going to go in, you're going to pick the town that you want to do, pick the location that you want, pick the day, pick the slot, and then say submit. And it really is just that quick. On those rounds, please know that if something glitches, it's probably because somebody got there first. Have a second, third, fourth choice ready to make that. If you are not super hyper competitive about boothing, just wait an hour and it's going to calm down. And then when you go in, you're going to know what's left and you can make your own choices at your own time. There's no reason to do it if you're not hyper competitive to get in there and go crazy and be mad that it didn't work for you. There's going to be a lot of activity and it goes crazy. So just be prepared to pick whatever spots you want. Oh, see, like this one had 2 spots at the end of the season that nobody used. And that is the most popular. Do know that your most popular times are probably about 12 to 6. And the most popular locations, just for anybody that wants to know, Walmart's and Fred Meyer's are always the first locations that are completely grayed out or blued out. That means that all the spots are taken and that nobody else can take any more spots. If you know you aren't going to use a booth spot, do the exact same thing. Go pick whatever spot it was, pick your time, go and click the spot and then say submit, and it'll pull your troop out of it so that somebody else can use it. The deposits tab. This is where you're going to see all of the deposits that were made. These guys sold a lot in Digital Cookie. So you will see all of their deposits made through the digital cookie program. Half of them are ship and the other half are deliver or donated. So do know that that's where a lot of people are doing it. And then you will see 3 ACHs. You'll see a first, second, and third ACH, hopefully. Well, these guys must have missed the first one for some reason. And so they have a second and third where they made up for it. Oh, that's because I am in the other one. But this is the other troop, and hopefully they have, there's their first one, and then there's their other 2. So those are all the deposits that were made on their behalf. You cannot add a deposit. A deposit is not what you put into your bank account. It's what I pull out. Like all these DOC ones are ones that were made on the troops' behalf that are deposited to the council. We get a check every week or an ACH directly deposited into our account every time one of these sales are made. And it goes against, on your sales report, once again, all of these are listed. These are all the ones that they sold, and they go against what you owe the council. The entire face value of it goes against it. And then I do the first ACH, $1.25 per box, the second ACH, $2.50. And then look, that's that final pull. Look how much money comes out in that final pull, because I know that's when you've done all of your booth sales, you've sold everything. The first pull is almost nothing. The second pull is peanuts compared to that final pull. And then I leave the $2,247 in your bank account. So whatever your troop proceeds are, then I leave that directly in your bank account so that you don't have to worry about it. And then at the very end of the sale, that balance should be 0. If it's not 0, that's when we're going to have issues. So make sure that the money is always there and available. Total deposits, total DOC deposits. You can see how that splits out. And then you can see what should have been left in the troop bank account. You'll also be able to, from this site, you'll be able to see what rate they were able to get to. So their tiered proceeds, they earned $374 extra because they earned that 400 boxes per girl selling. So when your average is at 400 boxes per girl selling, that's how you know that you're going to earn your tiered proceeds. So they earned $375 more because they hit those levels. And then finally, there's some reports that you can pull. You can see some cupboard report information, your delivery station information, and then, of course, all of the DOC reports that you need so that you can get that information very quickly. And that is our eBuddy training. Any questions or anything that anybody wants to talk about? We did run over just a little bit, so I apologize for that. You can either write it or you can take yourself off mute. I'm going to give it another minute. Let's see if there's any questions. Oh, go ahead, Cindy.
Hey, really quick, and I should know this, but what website will all this information be on?
So it's the main website that I point everybody to is our website, which is the girlscouts-ssc.org.
Okay.
And then it's under Cookies Plus, and then the Resources tab. And then one of the tricky things is that people don't see is this little menu that drops it down so that you can see everything. And then all of it is available there. So if you want a copy of this presentation, there's both the troop level and the service unit training presentations that are available right there. Again, the manuals and any other tools or anything else that you might need.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, Janice, we can talk about that. Any other questions? You can either write it in or you can pull yourself off mute. All right, then I am going to stop the recording